If there's one thing I love in a From Software game, it's a good trap. I love how exciting they can be when they catch you off guard, and it really keeps you on your toes, and it's also a lot of fun to watch your friends get caught in them too. They piss me off, but I love them. So let's talk about the top 10 traps in Souls. I have a love-hate relationship with the catacombs of Carthus. I gotta tell you that the level is super ugly. Those skeleton swordsmen are way too fast, and they piss me off when I'm just trying to get back to the boss fight. But I also really love the skeleton ball. That thing will roll down the stairs, it'll roll up the stairs. It's controlled by a skeleton with a magic hat, and it does not care who it takes out. It just has to roll around and destroy everybody. And it doesn't even care if it destroys its own master. I love this thing. It is a thing of beauty. Okay, so the next type of trap that I want to talk about is more of a category than a specific trap. And the two best examples I think of are both found in the original Dark Souls. These are the traps where you go to pick up an item somewhere, and as soon as you pick that item up, you get jumped. And one really good example I can think of is when you go to the New Londo Ruins and you pick up the Firekeeper Soul. As soon as you go over that bridge, the ghosts just show up, and you have two options. You can try to dodge and juke your way back out of there, or you can just jump into the pit and respawn back in Firelink Shrine. You know, either one is a valid thing to do, but I think this is a really fun kind of trap because it really makes you nervous and tense every time it happens. The other one I love thinking about is in Darkroot Garden. There is that one item on the ground that's not even that good, but if you pick it up, a bunch of those little bushmen will jump up and start attacking you, and they will stay aggroed onto you once you pick that item up. So every time you come back to that area, they will be awake and ready to fight. So get ready for that. You just screwed yourself over for the rest of the game if you pick up that item, as long as you're in that area. So you better level up your weapons quick so you can take them out fast. Another trap that I just cannot live without are the wonderful pressure plate traps. And the ones that I tend to think of most of the time are going to be the ones found in Sin's Fortress in Dark Souls. And these pressure plates are great because whenever you step on one, it'll fire out arrows. There are some that you'll step on and it'll fire out 3 arrows from a single location, like the one and the entrance to the fortress. And then there is another one where you step on the pressure plate and it fires multiple arrows down a hallway from different locations, which is almost instant death if you get caught in that. No matter what kind of armor you're wearing, it seems like these arrows just totally just jack your ass up. Anyway, these traps are great. I love them. I think possibly the most iconic trap in Sin's Fortress. Yeah, I know, we're going back to Sin's Fortress again. But I think that one of the most iconic traps in this level are the giant pendulum axes. And these things look really cool, but they also really screw with your mind, because when you're walking across the platform, you have to kind of judge how far apart they are and which ones you can stop between and which ones you need to just run through. And I'll tell you, that last section of the original Dark Souls, I died so many times not figuring out which section I needed to wait on and which section I needed to run across. These things are cool, and it's, you know, it sucks, but it's also kind of funny when one of them catches you and just like throws your ass all the way into the basement of the fortress. Pretty good shit. Yes, believe it or not, there is a trap from Elden Ring that I find pretty awesome, actually. And I know I've talked about this in another video before, but we're going to talk about it again because this is the traps video. And we're talking about the Frenzy Flame Tower, which, you know, it's the big homage to the Lord of the Rings, which, yeah, that's really cool. But I also really love the fact that you're like riding up the hill on Torrent, and then all of a sudden you see this flame just explode out of this tower, and that's awesome. But also your frenzy status is starting to build up, and you're like, oh my god, what the hell do I do about this? And it's pretty exciting, and it's pretty tricky trying to figure out what to do. And I love the fact that you go to this tower, if you manage to make it all the way there, and you get a new incantation for frenzy, and you get to take out a frenzy rat, and you get to take out a weird cult at the top of the tower and put out the flame forever. Hooray, you're a hero. This game is happy end. Okay, there are probably not that many traps in any game that can compete with how awesome the elevator in Sense Fortress is. And it's the elevator that you find in a very special room, and I'm not going to say what the trap is just yet, but you find this trap just after another trap. So if you miss the first trap, there's a good chance you're going to get caught by this one. And it even gives you that little hint of blood, and you're thinking, well, there's blood there, I wonder what that's all about. But if you manage to stay on the elevator too long, you got a bad time coming to you. If you're really quick, though, you can make it out on time and you'll be fine, which is great. This is a wonderful example of a trap that teaches you to be aware of your surroundings and just pay attention and think fast. Very awesome design. Of course, you knew that at some point we were going to get to talk about the most wonderful game ever, Dark Souls 2. And if you're not aware of this, there are traps that occasionally are not traps. And what I mean is, these are chests called radiant chests, and instead of poison smoke or arrows or spiders or something else totally horrible trying to kill you, you get this wonderful red smoke that comes out, and the healing vape of Mr. Wolnir comes out, and it just refills your health, and it's just wonderful. It's a very rare trap, but it's also such a fun, nice surprise, and it really catches you off guard when it happens. Man, Dark Souls 2 is just awesome. It just does so many weird, cool things like this. I love that game. We just got done talking about Dark Souls 2, but I've got to tell you that my absolute favorite trap is the one that makes me laugh the most. Getting healed is really nice, but what's even nicer is watching your friends trying to get through this level and then accidentally opening this door, or intentionally opening this door, and then they just out the side into the pit of nothingness. God dang it. This is freaking hilarious. Just one of the most trolly moments I've ever seen. I love it. 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 This is brilliant. Tani Mora, you Giga Chad, you. You probably knew that we were going to talk about this trap, and that's because it's great. It is also a trap that I find shocking, exciting, but it is also freaking hilarious, because in the Forbidden Woods, the log trap gets triggered and you may react quickly enough to dodge it. Haha, I'm safe. Isn't that great, everyone? But then, oh shit, it came off the rope and now it's coming back and now you're dead. And then they just got to have a big laugh at you. Good job, Miyazaki. Alright, before we get to number one, we got to do a couple honorable mentions. There were just too many traps for me to talk about on this list to fit them all into just a top 10. So, first honorable mention, I want to talk about the giant balls in Sense Fortress, because who doesn't love having giant balls slapped up against their body? Nobody, that's who. And, you know, in Sense Fortress, you got the giant guys putting the ball in the thing, and it shoots them around like a big pinball machine, and the whole thing is just really awesome. And figuring out the puzzle with the balls is really cool. You know, you got the ability to break that wall. You can kill the snake dude. You can go rescue Big Hat Logan. There's all kinds of fun stuff you can do with these balls. And I guess what I'm saying is in Sense Fortress, it's really fun to play with balls. Okay. Last honorable mention, and also the last real specific mention of Dark Souls 2, unfortunately, for this video. And what I'm talking about here is in Iron Keep, there is a hallway that you get to before you go to fight the boss. And it's got these little switches that you pull, and it makes these giant guillotine blades go up in the air. They will come down on you, and they can kill you very easily. But if they don't kill you, what they also can do is trap you in a hallway with those giant turtle guys. So I really hope that your DPS is good enough to where you can kill these dudes quickly. Otherwise, you just effed yourself in the A so bad. What a tragedy. Alright guys, no big surprises here unfortunately, but I just really could not bring myself to think of any trap that is better than the Mimic. It seems to me like when you're playing a Souls game, the Mimics will show up sometimes when you least expect it. You know, you'll be playing and you'll think, oh my god, I finally found some treasure, and you forgot to look at that chain and you forgot to see if that's a Mimic or not. You didn't check to see if it was safe, and then you accidentally died even though you knew what was going on. But the reason why you usually are going to be checking those chests is because of the most important Mimic, and that is the one that you find in Sin's Fortress, because that is the first Mimic that these people ever put in a game, and it's great. I just want to note that the Mimic in Sin's Fortress is such a shock because you're in a dark room and you're in an area where you just got through a bunch of scary traps, so you're actually thinking that you're in a safe place. And then when you say, oh, treasure, wonderful, and then you open up the treasure and then you're dead, it's just like, it's hilarious, it's frightening, it's just the ultimate annoying FU from the game. And I also want to point out that Mimics are like a classical fantasy creature that you see in Dungeons and Dragons and Magic the Gathering and stuff like that. So it's also really neat that From Software put such a cool spin on such a classic fantasy trap monster, and I just love it. I can't get over it. I love the fact that these things in Dark Souls grow legs and they laugh at you and they kick the shit out of you. They're even strong enough to beat at the ass of a boss every once in a while. And they're just great. I love these things. They're amazing. Mimics, everybody. Mimics for the win. Hashtag love them Mimics. Alright, well, I want to thank you for getting through to the end of yet another From Software countdown. If you want to support the channel, please don't hesitate. We have channel memberships, a Patreon, and we also are set up for super chats. If you want, we also have a wonderful Discord community that you can check out. The link is in the video description. Thank you so much again for watching the video. I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you next time.